Jersey biodata leak. We see it every game, every highlight reel. The iconic jerseys, the bold corporate logos splashed across the chests of our favorite athletes. They're symbols of sponsorship, of global brands, of the very fabric of modern sports. But what if that fabric was telling a secret story? What if, woven into the very threads of those logos, was a technology so advanced, so invasive, it's almost unthinkable? This is the story of a rumor, a chilling whisper in the darkest corners of the internet that's starting to get louder. It's a theory about a technology codenamed the Phoenix Fiber. And if it's true, it changes everything we thought we knew about the world of professional sports. The core of this theory is as simple as it is terrifying. The idea is that major sportswear corporations, in a clandestine partnership, have developed a revolutionary smart textile. This isn't your standard moisture-wicking material. This is something else entirely. The Phoenix Fiber, as the story goes, is a web of biocompatible, nanoscale sensors and conductive filaments, so fine they are indistinguishable from normal thread. And where is this technology being deployed? Right in the most visible, unassuming place imaginable: the corporate logos themselves. The swoosh, the three stripes, the Jumpman, they aren't just patches of embroidery anymore. They are sophisticated data collection arrays, constantly and silently monitoring the athlete wearing them. What kind of data are we talking about? Not just the simple step counting of a commercial fitness tracker. We're talking about a complete real-time physiological profile. Think about it. These fibers press directly against the skin of a peak human specimen in the heat of competition could capture everything. Real-time electrocardiography data, monitoring the heart's electrical activity with clinical precision. Lactate threshold monitoring, tracking the exact moment an athlete's muscles begin to fatigue and produce lactic acid. Core body temperature, hydration levels, respiration rate, even the galvanic skin response to measure stress and adrenaline. The most disturbing rumors go even further, suggesting the technology is capable of electromyography, or EMG, to map the electrical signals of specific muscle contractions, essentially creating a blueprint of an athlete's physical exertion. It's the kind of intimate, second-by-second biological information that, until now, was only accessible in a high-tech sports science laboratory. But now, it's allegedly being broadcast live from the field of play. Now, it's easy to dismiss this as pure science fiction, a paranoid fantasy cooked up online. But let's pull back the curtain for a second and look at the real world. The technology for this isn't just plausible, it's practically here. Scientists at institutions like MIT and Stanford have already developed e-textiles and smart threads that can be woven into clothing to function as sensors. We have flexible, washable circuits. We have energy-harvesting fabrics that can power electronics using the wearer's own body heat and movement. The miniaturization of biometric sensors has been advancing at an exponential rate. The gap between what's possible in a lab and what can be mass-produced is shrinking every single day. The Phoenix Fiber theory doesn't invent a new technology. It simply suggests that the most advanced, non-commercial version of it has been secretly deployed. So, if the tech is real, who gets the data? The teams? The sponsors? This is where the theory takes its darkest turn. The data isn't just going to a coach's tablet to strategize for the second half. The whispers, the alleged leaks, all point in one deeply unsettling direction: the Pentagon. Yes, the United States Department of Defense. Why on earth would the Pentagon be interested in whether a point guard is cramping up or a striker's heart rate is spiking? The answer, according to proponents of this theory, is chillingly logical. Professional athletes represent the absolute peak of human performance. They are living, breathing laboratories of physical and mental endurance, pushing their bodies to the absolute limit under immense pressure. This is invaluable data for any organization interested in understanding and enhancing human capabilities. We're talking about creating physiological benchmarks, developing predictive models for exhaustion and injury in high-stress environments, and potentially even reverse engineering the biometrics of elite performance for military applications. The origins of the Phoenix fiber theory are murky, which, of course, only adds to its mystique. It didn't start with a single source, but bubbled up from various tech and defense industry forums. There are mentions of a supposedly scrubbed DARPA project from the early 2010s, codenamed Project Icarus, which aimed to develop non-invasive, persistent biometric monitoring for soldiers. The project was officially shelved, but the theory suggests it simply went dark, re-emerging under a new name and a new commercial guise. The Phoenix in Phoenix Fiber supposedly refers to the project rising from the ashes of Icarus. Is it a coincidence that around the same time we started seeing subtle changes in the construction of athletic jerseys? Logos that were once simple screen prints or embroidery became complex, heat-pressed patches with multiple layers and a strange, almost rubbery texture. Skeptics call it a simple manufacturing evolution for aesthetics and durability. Believers call it the perfect camouflage for embedding a flexible sensor array. It's happening right under our noses, hidden in plain sight. We celebrate these athletes as heroes, but if this is true, they've been turned into something else entirely, unwitting walking data streams for the military-industrial complex.
The question is no longer just, is this possible? But what is the ultimate goal here? And that's a question that leads us down an even deeper, more disturbing rabbit hole. Block 2. Pentagon's secret agenda. So, if we accept the terrifying premise that the Phoenix fiber is real, that athletes are being monitored, the crucial question becomes, why? Why would the Pentagon go to such extraordinary, covert lengths to harvest biometric data from the world of sports? To understand the motive, you have to look beyond the stadium and into the long-documented history of the military's obsession with optimizing the human weapon. This isn't a new fascination, it's a foundational pillar of modern defense research. For decades, agencies like DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, have been at the forefront of projects aimed at enhancing soldier performance, reducing fatigue, and creating a more resilient, effective warfighter. They've explored everything from genetic enhancements and brain-computer interfaces to advanced nutritional science and exoskeletons. The Phoenix fiber fits perfectly into this paradigm. Imagine having a constantly updating database fed by thousands of elite athletes across dozens of different sports, all pushing their bodies to the breaking point. This isn't a small controlled lab study with a dozen subjects on a treadmill. This is the largest, most diverse human performance study in history, conducted by proxy. The data could be used to build incredibly sophisticated AI models that can predict physical failure with stunning accuracy. Imagine a system that could warn a commander that a soldier's biometric profile indicates they are just minutes away from critical exhaustion or a heat stroke, allowing for a life-saving intervention. Think of developing next-generation exoskeletons that don't just augment strength, but actively read and respond to the user's muscle fatigue and neural signals in real time, providing support precisely when and where it's needed. This data could even be used to screen military recruits, identifying individuals with the specific physiological markers that indicate a higher potential for elite special forces roles. The athletes in this scenario are the unpaid, unwilling, and unknowing test subjects for the super soldier programs of tomorrow. This, of course, throws us headfirst into a legal and ethical minefield. The first and most glaring issue is consent. Even if an athlete's contract has a vaguely worded clause about performance monitoring for product development, it's inconceivable that it would cover the transfer of their most intimate biological data to a government defense agency for classified research. This is a profound violation of privacy. Your biometric signature is more uniquely you than your fingerprint. It's a living record of your physical state. For that to be collected and analyzed without explicit, fully informed consent is a horrifying breach of personal autonomy. And what about the potential for exploitation? If a team, or worse, a government agency, knows the precise moment an athlete's body is beginning to break down, how could that information be used? Could it be leveraged in contract negotiations, used to force a player into early retirement, or to flag them as a poor investment? And how could something like this even be legal? The answer likely lies in the murky intersection of complex sponsorship agreements and national security. The contracts between leagues, teams, and apparel companies are notoriously dense and secretive. It's plausible that clauses could be embedded deep within these multi-hundred-page documents that permit broad data usage rights, which are then leveraged by the corporation's government contracts. The legal framework might operate under the justification of national interest, a powerful phrase that has historically been used to bypass conventional privacy laws. The collection could be legally insulated, classified at every level, making it virtually impossible for an athlete or their union to challenge, because officially it doesn't even exist. The corporations get tax breaks and lucrative defense contracts, the Pentagon gets its data, and the athlete is left completely in the dark, a pawn in a much larger game. If these rumors hold even a shred of truth, the fallout would be catastrophic for the world of sports. It would shatter the trust between players and the leagues they play for, between fans and the teams they idolize. Every incredible athletic feat would be tainted by the question, are we watching a human being or a data point? What can be done? The first step is awareness. Athletes, agents, and players' unions need to start scrutinizing sponsorship and equipment contracts with a fine-tooth comb, demanding absolute transparency about any and all data collection. Fans have a voice too, demanding accountability from the leagues and brands they support. The future of sports technology is at a crossroads. It can be a tool for improving health, safety, and performance, or it can become a tool for surveillance and exploitation. The Phoenix Fiber, whether it's a real, classified project or simply a cautionary tale born from the Internet's collective anxiety, forces us to confront this choice. It's a stark reminder that in a world saturated with technology, we must always ask what's happening just beneath the surface. What's hidden in the very fabric of our lives? You decide if this is a wild conspiracy or a terrifying glimpse into a future that's already here.